Ah, that's better. I was trying to start a stream and the camera was pointed towards the door. I don't know. There's like a 30-second thing that I just did that's probably going to download. That if you want to get a good laugh, you can, because it's me getting very frustrated at YouTube. I am 24 hours away from going to the airport and flying home. But for this is my last day of North Carolina, I have one final rant. Of course, it's for that diva piece of crap, human trash, Hassan Reddick. And I say he's a piece of crap, piece of human trash, because he's a lowlife and he has no loyalty. He has no scruples. He has no ethics. He has no morals. He is a lowlife, greedy, selfish piece of crap that only cares about himself. And I say this because he allowed the Jets to trade for him, and his agent communicated with the team that he would not hold out and that he simply wanted an adjustment to his contract. That was the understanding. Adjustment to the contract. Everyone assumes. Now, JD is wrong. We are all allowed to assume. JD is not. This was a huge mistake on his part. But we assumed that they would guarantee his contract and that we would, and then Hassan, like that was the adjustment. They'd guaranteed his contract, they'd add some more incentives, whatever it was, but something that was very simple, that something that was pretty much agreed to. But as it turns out, Hassan Reddick is a lowlife and wants probably, you have to, are people going to say, how do you know? Well, we traded for him and we knew we were going to have to do something to make him a little happier. And they said he would play and come to camp, and now he's not coming to camp. So I don't think JD said, we're doing nothing for you. I'm sure that in good faith, he offered him some type of adjustment, more incentives, more guaranteed money. And it's very clear that Reddick wants more and was dishonest because now he's holding out. But I'll tell you why we'll get the last laugh. First, I want to say hello to some people. Hello, Johnny Boy. What's going on? Good to see you. Huge Jansen is here. Love the guy. Todd, what's going on? My friend from Pure Adrenaline Sports, John the Postman, is here. What's going on? It's good to see you. Anyway, let's get back to the Jets. So here's the situation. Some people will argue, my friend Leroy will argue, that it's always the player that's right. They have the right to sit out, and they have the right to demand more money, and they have short careers, and they got to feed their family, and they should be paid what they're worth, and all that stuff. Okay, I will say that he signed a contract because that's if he didn't sign a contract, he wouldn't be in this predicament. He sat once with a pen, and he signed his name that literally led to this year. Like it was right in front of him. His agent, if you didn't know and you don't know how to I don't know how to read contracts, and you didn't understand it, then fire your agent, fire your lawyer, fire them, because it was right. The contract definitely said in the final year after getting your guaranteed monies and making a bunch of millions of dollars. He wasn't as great back then, but sure, he got millions of dollars. It was a contract in the NFL. It said you will get the fourth year deal is $15 million incentive based. Now, look, it sucks for him in that moment. Like that when you get up to that part of a contract, right? If you sign something that says you're going to get paid $500,000 a year for 5 years, and then you have to work a year for $20,000. When you get to that year where you're working for $20,000, you're gonna hate it, right? It sucks, but you've made a lot of money, and you understood it when you signed the contract. Now, look, the only argument you need to know that he's wrong is he's being fined $50,000 a day, and they're not allowed to forgive it. Like the rules have changed. You no longer, the team could say, don't worry about the fines. The NFL forces the player now to pay the $50,000 a day. So if he wasn't in violation, if he wasn't doing something wrong, why is there a $50,000 consequence every day? The answer is he is wrong. And the $50,000 fine that he's getting every day is called accountability. It means this is taking accountability for the fact that you are breaking a contract. You are not living up to your signature, your word. Now, here's the thing. He has no leverage. Just in case all of you are wondering how this is going to end. JD could sit there. First of all, shame on you, JD, for bringing this disease into our building. We had Bryce Huff. Find a way to make Bryce Huff happy, and none of this is, and he traded JFM, so he put us in this really bad position. Based on a guy who played for multiple teams already, who has a reputation, in spite of what Salah says, of being a selfish, play for himself kind of guy. Because now you start to think about those reports that came out of Philadelphia that he didn't follow the plays, he did what was right for him, right? So now you start thinking about that, and it starts to feel real because you're seeing what kind of human being he is. Now, he can come to camp, and there's a player that's doing it. I think it's Jordan Love. He can come to camp and not play and say, well, we're negotiating a contract. Let's say they're in negotiation. He could come and say, look, I don't want to get on the field because I have too much at stake. If I hurt my Achilles or sprain my ankle, you're not going to still sign whatever, whether it's a new deal for this year or an extension, whatever it is they're negotiating right now. Obviously, he doesn't want to step on that horrible turf. That's a good argument for him, although it's the practice field. He could argue that until I have guaranteed money under this deal, I don't feel right about doing that, but I'm going to show up and I'm going to be part of the team, meaning I'm going to be in the room. I'm going to be in the locker room. I'm going to be in the classroom, with the whiteboard when he's learning the plays. And I'm going to be, by the way, guys, do me a favor, hit the like button. I'm going to get to know the guys and start building relationships and show that I have an understanding that that's important. Now, Salah said he's a leader. Salah's a liar. Like, Robert Salah never spoke to him. He's never spoken to Robert Salah. Yet Robert Salah went up there and said, yeah, great for our locker room, leader. This is not a leader. Okay, CJ Mosley is a leader. He never would have done this. Nothing like this. Okay? You show up. As a matter of fact, CJ Mosley did the opposite. He helped us, as did Aaron Rodgers. That's what leaders do. Okay, but this guy never got paid. I'm not expecting him to play for free. Right? But show up, become part of the team, gel with the team, be a leader, talk to the younger players, McDonald, JJ, in good faith while you're negotiating, but don't go on the field. And maybe they don't even fine you. Like, maybe you work that out with the team. And maybe I would, if the team is smart, and I agree with him to be pissed if they weren't, if the team has any morals or ethics or any kind of scruples at all, they would say you're right. They'd say, we don't blame you. We don't blame you because you have no guarantees, and if you got hurt right now, you'd make no money. And that's okay. Don't. We're working in a contract anyway. The fact that they can't work a deal tells me, or is a clear indicator to me, that he changed his mind. That he just doesn't want an adjustment on his contract. He's looking for something that's going to make him the top paid edge, and this and that and this and that. And he's not going to understand that you have to compromise that negotiation because you signed a contract and you didn't complete your contract yet. So we have you under this contract. We're doing you a favor by renegotiating it. You're supposed to give back some of that money. You're supposed to share the benefit. That's what the whole point. That's why when you extend someone after their third year and not wait for the fourth, fifth year, it's an understanding that you're going to share the benefit. It's like, yes, we're going to give you more money right now, guaranteed, and protect your interest, but at the same time, you're going to give us a little discount for doing it now. Anyway, he's not going along with any of this, right? Clearly. Now, but here's why I don't want everyone to panic, and here's the leverage that we have, and here's why we have the leverage. We have the leverage because we're going to be an excellent defense with or without him. We will. JJ, McDonald, Clemens. I know people are like, Clemens ain't that good. He's fine. He's fine. And if he got more reps, he'd probably make more plays. He looks great. He looks like a different person. He's one of the hardest workers on the team. He's fine. We've had much worse defensive lines in our past. We have a great defensive coordinator. And we have a great head coach, defensive head coach, excellent secondary. It's fine. Would it be better with Reddick? Yes. Right? But not enough of what he has to lose. What we have to lose is we have to say, wow, we would probably be a lot better with him. And now we might not be the most dominant defense. We might just be top 5, top 6. We might not be top 2. Right? And that sucks because that sucks. Doesn't mean we can't win a Super Bowl. Doesn't mean we're still not a team that can win the division, a team that could win 12 games. Doesn't mean any of that. But here's the leverage we have over him. Okay? Understand this. When you're under contract and you sit out, you don't become a free agent the next year. You don't. It's not that simple. It's more complicated. If he sat out the entire year, he doesn't free himself to be a free agent. He doesn't. His contract now moves to next year, and we have him in the same predicament. Nothing got better for him, except now he's lost a year. So we could do this with him if we wanted. We could say, see you when you show up in camp. Otherwise, go to hell. That's your contract. And he could not show up. And then next year he could come back and show up. And if he doesn't, we're not even talking about the fines he'd have to be paying. He can wait 2 years and then maybe, I think, can finally get free when he's 32, 33 years old. What is his contract going to be like then? If he sat out for 2 years, after having a reputation, being with multiple teams, not being a team guy, misleading the Jets, having his agent tell us he would play, ending up sitting out, sits out 2 years, he's 32 years old, how much do you think they're paying him? Who's coming along and paying him? And what's the contract? I guarantee you it's probably not better than what we're willing to pay him right now. Like, I'm sure we're willing to fully guarantee his contract. I'm full. I mean, there must be some deal something we threw out there, whether it was a good deal for him or not, or an insult or not, that would be like, I mean, they'd be crazy not to have said, hey, you want to sign a 3-year, $20 million a year deal? $40 million guaranteed? Like, it's crazy if we didn't do that and take a shot, right? But think about it. He'd probably laugh at that and say, I'm not paying for $20 million a year, 3 years, 40 guaranteed. But if he sits out for 2 years, he ain't getting a contract like that. He's getting some kind of prove-it $12 million deal. 1 year with some team. Lucky if it's guaranteed. Because he sat out for 2 years. How many players in the history of the NFL have sat out for 2 years and come back and been anything like they were? So we have the leverage. We didn't even talk about the fact that he gets fined $50,000 a day. That we can't say later on, oh, you don't have to pay it. He has to pay it. Now, he might be thinking, I'll just have them added on to the contract when I sign with them. But they're not going to do that. Right? Because JD's going to say, no. You sat out for 20 days. You think I'm going to pay you an extra $1 million to pay those fines? And by the way, that $1 million that they would pay him, 10-15% goes to the guy's agent, and it gets taxed. So it's really only, $450,000, $500,000. $500,000, let's say, that he made extra, like to pay his fines. If his fines were $1 million, now it's still $500,000 out of his own pocket. He can't win. He can't win. Now, look, I'm the first to say it. As a Jet fan, I don't want an unhappy player. I want a happy Hassan Reddick. So I want us to be able to work out a deal with him. I want to work out a deal with him that he's going to be happy with. Or maybe he's not going to be thrilled, but content to say, okay, I could live with that, and now I'm going to go and have the best year of my career, and I'm going to make them pay. I'm going to shove it back up the Jets' ass. I'm going to get 15, 16, 17 sacks. I'm going to dominate the league, and they're going to wish they had signed the deal I wanted. And good. I want him to have that incentive. Good. Even if he's not a good team player, I don't care. For that position, we could have one guy that's just on his own, a missionary, that sits there, lines up, and like a hungry wolf goes after the quarterback, like a lunatic escaping an insane asylum. I don't care. That'll work for us. It'll work because luckily our defense is designed like that anyway. So it's totally cool. What's up, Finnegan? It works for me. He could totally do it. Please, if you're watching, hit the like button. Um, he could go on and do that. So, Hassan Reddick, I don't know why he's holding out completely. I don't know why you wouldn't go to camp so you don't have to pay the fines and request not to play and say, look, we're negotiating. The fact that he's sitting out completely, Johnny boy, it tells me that they're not close. And he's right, they're not close to a contract. Or it could be out, it could be completely wrong. The fact that he's sitting out completely could mean they're very close to a contract. And he's like, I'm going to stay, like to incentivize them. Like, it's like almost like, come on, let's get this done so I'm not too late for camp, you know. But I think if they were super close to a contract and he believed that he was going to get it done, he would be there in camp at least to not get the fine. If he's so scared to be up there warming up, by the way, I'm a little nervous. He's not very confident about his health, is he? If he's afraid to, I mean, we're not even talking about contact yet. These guys are reporting to camp. What do you think they do the first few days? I mean, how rough do you think it gets the first few days? I mean, come on. They're stretching and they're warming up, guys. They're checking their weights. The trainers and the nutritionists are looking at their diet and are you overweight and determining the diet. They're looking at their muscle mass. You know, they're coming back from a long vacation. What do you think they're doing? They're all getting checked up to see what kind of shape they're in. They're all getting put on their diets and their nutritional plans. They're all hitting the weight rooms, right? So I don't care what people say. He's a veteran. He doesn't need to be in camp. It's not good. It's not good. There's a reason there's camp. Like it's not like if it didn't matter at all, it would just be rookie camp and the veterans would show up. It's not true. You got to show up and get in football shape. You got to get in playing shape. We've seen this. We've seen players not do anything all camp and then try to be ready for the season, and it blows up in our face, and it didn't work. You can name the guys, right? Some offensive linemen as of very recently. Like, it didn't work for them to just step in and think they could play. How did it work for Dalvin Cook? How did that work for Dalvin Cook? I mean, like, when he just came in and didn't, like, he came in late, he didn't work out, he didn't do anything, and then they just started giving him the ball. What did he look like? He was rushing for 1 yard. He looked like the slowest player in the league. There was no explosiveness, and he got a little bit better throughout the year, but it didn't work out because we had no offensive line, and there was no opportunity for him. And then turns out he was deteriorating skills anyway because apparently he didn't do too well anywhere else. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That's what happens when you don't have a camp. If Dalvin Cook was to come back for some team and have a very good camp now, I mean a very good season, after a full camp, I think the argument would be, camps help. Right? If he sits there and comes in and wants to miss camp and come in for another team, if I was that other team, don't you understand what he's doing? He just wants some money. He doesn't want to work hard. He's lazy. That's what it means if you skip camp. Camp is where you put the work in. It's real. For anybody who thinks camp doesn't matter, ask Jerry Rice if he ever missed training camp. Ask any player who's ever played with Jerry Rice what he was like in training camp. And then you'll know. I'm drinking pure tea. No sugar, nothing added. Just pure tea. See? No sugar. Why, you ask? Because Jets Chaos is very unhealthy. And Jets Chaos needs to start taking better care of himself. Anyway, look, guys. I only have 4 likes here. I don't know what's going on. What's going on? You're supposed to hit the like button. I know Johnny hit the like button. What's the matter, Finnegan? You don't want to hit the like button? Anyway, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Hassan Reddick? Look, I know I was harsh on him. I call him a piece of crap. You know, if he comes in and signs, I'm the biggest Hassan Reddick fan. I mean, I'm not buying his jersey, but you know I'm going to be rooting for him like everybody else. This is me. This is what I do. Right now, you're holding out on our team. Right now, you're hurting our team. You're doing harm to our team. I believe that. I believe holdouts are bad for the team. I think it's bad for the fans. I think that you could go on Twitter and look. Go onto Facebook. There's a lot of angry, upset Jet fans. So people are being upset because of this holdout. So I'm not happy with him right now. So I'm going to call him all these names. And then when he signs, you know me, you put that Jets uniform on and you come to play and you're out there on that field. And I'm going to root for you as hard as I've rooted for anyone in my life. And I will go crazy for every sack. I will. And I'll literally say it. When he gets the sack, I'll say, Hassan Reddick with the sack. I'm sorry I said all those horrible things about you. I'll say that. But for right now, he's not in camp. He's hurting our team. He is our enemy. Right now, he's our enemy. He's hurting us more than our competition. No one is hurting us more right now in all of the Jets world, except maybe Alan Lazard. Why is Alan Lazard hurting us, you ask? Because he's taking up $14, $15 million in cap space, and he sucks. That's why. So, what does it say? There you go. Good morning. Hugh Johnson says, click the 3 dots on the top right and hit that like. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Is that what it is? Is it, with this weird live stream, is it just harder to like it? Do you have to hit like the 3 dots or something? Then I get it. Sorry I asked you to hit the like button. I know that must be a lot of work and it's complicated. You know, there's some people that watch on their TVs and I get the older generation. We'll get people who say, I watch on my TV and you yell at us to hit the like button. Well, I can't. I tried with the remote control. It doesn't work. To those people, I say, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people who know that all they have to do is lift their finger and touch a little button and help the channel out. That's all I'm saying. But I'm looking for opinions. What do you guys think? Are you mad at Hassan Reddick? Are you mad at Joe Douglas? Are you mad at both of them? Are you not mad at either of them and saying, Jeremy, this is the real world, and that's how it goes? You know, share your opinions. And you're entitled to your opinions. While it's happening, I'm mad at Hassan Reddick, and I'm mad at JD. I'm disappointed in JD. Because this was inexperience. This is a rookie mistake. It's a rookie mistake. Like, never trust a handshake in this world anymore. People are not honorable. You can't go by people's word. And I know it sucks to hear that, and it's shitty. I mean, I know you could go by my word. I know if I promised you something, I would follow my promise. But I don't blame you for not trusting me. Well, JD should not have trusted him. They should not have trusted his agent. They should have made it with the Eagles. They should have said, no, it has to be a sign and trade. He has to sign something agreeing that he's going to play. I mean, he already has the contract, but we don't want it this way. We don't want it in bad faith. Like, in other words, if we say, screw you, we're not changing your contract, and in 3 days from now he gives in because he doesn't want to pay all these fines and he realizes we're serious, and he shows up in camp, that sucks for us. He's not happy. He's going to be this angry, upset person in camp. I mean, luckily he has to play. It's the final year of his contract, so his agent would yell at him every day, are you out of your minds, if he doesn't play hard. Because if he doesn't play hard and he doesn't have a good year, how much he's hurting himself, because he needs this. He's playing for a contract this year if we don't extend him beyond. Whatever ends up happening, if it's 1 year deal, he's playing for his future contract. So he can't play games and saying, well, I'm gonna play half-ass. He can't do that. I mean, he can, but if he does, he's really stupid. Because if he does that and he only has 7 sacks and he doesn't play that well, you think another team's going to say, yeah, but he did it on purpose. He wasn't happy. With us, he'll go back to 14 sacks. Do you think they're going to just ignore the fact that he had played a season where he was half-assing it? Do you think a NFL football coach is going to say, I'm okay with that type of character? Like, it won't happen. So he's going to have to play hard. I'd rather have him happy. I'd rather have him a guy that's talking to JJ, talking to McDonald, giving advice to McDonald, being a mentor, rather than just some bitter guy that sits alone in the locker room saying, I'm a missionary and I'm just playing for my contract next year and I couldn't give a shit about this team. Especially because if he got 15, 16 sacks, once the playoffs start, he could play like shit, or in the last quarter, like he did in the Super Bowl, he could do nothing. Because guess what? I think if you watch the last quarter of the Super Bowl, he did nothing for the Eagles. So Did he do it because he didn't care about them and say screw them because they haven't reworked my contract? Maybe he's not a clutch player. Maybe we're not losing anyone. Maybe it's just, you know, you could take a 15 minutes of play from any defensive player, and and sometimes they don't do anything, and it's just hard to get a sack and a pressure. Sometimes it doesn't always happen. I mean, but you could just say. Drug Monkey says that JD's a horror story. I wouldn't say it was a horror story because we have one of the best rosters in the NFL. So I don't know how 4 years ago we were the worst roster in the NFL, and he cut us down to nothing and traded away Jamal Adams, and we had nothing. And now we have one of the best rosters in the NFL. I think it's virtually impossible to say that JD is a horror show. I'm going to say he's certainly not perfect, and this is clearly one of the mistakes he's making. But remember, those draft picks we got for Jamal Adams, all of that was JD. All of it. So he constructed this team that we have not been able to find a GM to construct since 2008 when they were building the 2009-2010 team. So we haven't had a general manager before JD. We went 12 years with horrendous incompetence, and now JD, has built one of the best rosters in the NFL, and it's JD. He built it. So, but I understand why you're mad at him, Drug Monkey. I'm just saying that it's hard to not acknowledge also what he's built. Roger F says, hello, Jeremy. It's Chloe, and I'm with my dad. We haven't seen you in a while. Also, can you like a video on Also, you can like a video on TV. Okay, Chloe, she's so sweet. Not only is she a future Olympian gymnast, but she knows about YouTube more than old man me. Apparently, if you're watching on TV, you can find a way to like it. Well, I hope your dad's okay. Roger, shout out to you, brother. I hope you're doing well. I know it's been a struggle. And I hope it's going well for Chloe. I hope, the gymnastics are going well. We love you guys in this community. We love you guys. You guys are the best. Chloe, you're our favorite girl. We're all pulling for you to succeed in everything, and we all want your father to be healthy. So, all my love to you guys. All my love. So, I'm hitting the love button for you guys. Joe Buddha, thank you. A chaos rant in the morning. I'm telling you, I need to send Hassan Reddick a thank you letter. Thank you for giving me something to rant about. It's been so long since we've had something to talk about. For those of you wondering where I am and if I'll be back and all that stuff, the answer is yes, yes, and yes. I'm in North Carolina now. Been here taking care of my dad and my mom. My dad's very elderly. He's very sick. Here to spend as much time with him as I can while I can. He's had a great life, but you can't live forever. I'm flying home tomorrow. I'm probably gonna have to fly back here again. So it does make it a little bit harder, guys, because me and my wife have one real computer that I could really build videos on and stream on and do all and I don't have it when I'm here, so I'm pretty much just restricted to my phone. So that's why you don't see me as much right now, and it's been a rough few months of me not being. And I thought this was the right time to focus on my family and take a break because there's no news and nothing's happened. Nothing, for the last 6 weeks, nothing's been happening. And I'm on Jets Talk on the Jets, Talking Jets channel with Ryan, Greenbean, and Matt. They've given me a show with Matt O'Leary on their channel, and I'm honored to be part of that channel. And they've shut down the channel in these last 6 weeks anyway, so it was kind of the right time for me to take a break. But when things get going again, I have some ideas for my channel. I'm getting a little tired, my schedule and everything, of doing the long live streams. I could just always go with Nick on Proud New York Jets Fan, or jump on with the other guys, and I have the show at Matt. So I always have the opportunity to live stream. I could do it this way. But I think I'm going to make the channel more about just trying to create videos for you guys. I get a lot of positive feedback when I make the videos. People say, hey, I'm glad to see you're making them again. So I'll try to get out 4 to 5 videos a week this season. That's my goal. And, of course, you will see me, if you decide to watch, every Jet game. New York Jet, a Green Bean Jets fan. Me and Green Bean are doing the reactions. So That's one of the more fun things that I do. If you want to watch me react to the games, if you haven't seen me and Green Bean react to the games, you ought to check it out. It's an interesting thing to watch. To watch me and Green Bean while you're watching the Jet game. Watch us on Green Bean on Jets Green Bean JetsFan.com whatever on YouTube on Green Bean's channel. It's an interesting thing to watch us react to the games. I'll say that much. Sorry about your mom. For family, thoughts and prayers. Thank you, thank you. It's more my dad, but we could take thoughts from my mom too because she's got her own things. But it's more my dad though. So, but thank you, thank you. We appreciate that. And you know what? We should send my thoughts to my mom because this is not easy on her. Love the reactions. Thanks, Hughes Johnson. I think it's the best stuff I do. It's my funnest stuff. Like my funnest thing of the year as a Jets fan right now. The thing I look most forward to is Jets football with Green Bean, and about 400 of you. Last year it got crazy. There were times where we had like 1,000 of you, which was nuts. Like opening game last year, the catastrophe game that Rodgers got hurt. We had at one point 1,100 people in the stream watching us, and it was unreal. And then the rapper, Q-Tip, who's friends with Green Bean, he called into the show and shouted me out. He goes, "Yeah, Jets Chaos, I see you." And I was like, "Damn, Q-Tip said my name." Like, can you, can he, I wish he'd, put me in one of his songs, you know? Like in a rap song, Jets Chaos. I don't know. Can you imagine him? Jets Chaos on Green Bean. Stinking up the scene. Watching the Jets and getting really mean. I just made that up myself. I'm sorry, I have type 2 diabetes now. So I get dehydrated really, really fast. And every time I'm talking a lot, I have to drink. Yeah, I have to start taking care of that too. So, more great news. But I'm told that if I lose about 50 pounds, which I'm planning on doing, that'll all take care of itself and I'll be better. I can always watch with Chaos and Green Bean. Hopefully this year we'll have more to cheer about. I know Joe Buddha. Joe Buddha, be good to me, Joe Buddha. What we need, Joe Buddha, is we need a statue of your head that we could pray to, Joe Buddha. Joe Buddha. Be very kind to me, Joe Buddha, and make sure that you give me the power for the Jets to win. Okay. Sharpshooters in the house. I almost lost it when the Jets started following me on Twitter. That's really cool. I don't think they follow me on Twitter. I don't tweet that much. I don't do that much. I'm not that active, so I don't think I've had anything really exciting happen on Twitter. I've never had anybody exciting like anything I wrote or anything like that. I think I did one thing on Twitter that got shared a lot and kind of got a little big. I had my one moment. I forgot what it was. It wasn't that big of a deal, but I don't care about that stuff, guys. I just want the Jets to win a Super Bowl. Someone came to me and said, what would you rather have, 20,000 subscribers on your channel or a Jets Super Bowl? Of course, I said both, but the reality is just Jets Super Bowl. You can have the channel. Just give me a Super Bowl. Hassan Reddick is not helping us get that Super Bowl. So we move on. If you look at the defense on paper without Hassan Reddick, it's not... Look, something is lost. He's a star, right? But it's not a bad defense, right? It's still a defense, a lot of exciting players, a lot we could be excited about. It's just simple. We need McDonald to pan out. We need McDonald to have the kind of second year that JJ had. That's really what it comes down to. We need that to happen. And then we need JJ to continue to get better. Remember, if JJ peaked last year, it's, you know what I mean? He's good. But, part of the excitement about JJ is that it was only his second year, and he was clearly growing and getting better. He still has growth. I'm not satisfied with where he is. Like, I want JJ to get 15 sacks. And for him, 15 sacks is great. I know people get like in love with the biggest stars numbers. Like, oh, it's got to be 18 or 19 or 20. Understand, when you consider how good JJ is against the run and how good he is at setting the edge, to play the position at that level, setting the edge, and to get 15 sacks makes him an all-pro, unbelievable player for us. And we would be and should be thrilled. Thrilled. 15 sacks would be absolutely tremendous from Jermaine Johnson. Now, Reddick was more of the guarantee, right? If we were able to make Reddick happy, Hassan Reddick is more of the guy that you could expect to get 15 sacks or not be shocked by it. I'm not going to say expect, but I'm going to say not be shocked. And here's why. I think that he's in a better position to get sacks and to get more sacks as a Jet because of the way we play defense, and especially with Aaron Rodgers now and the offense the way it's looking, there's a good chance that teams are going to be playing catch-up, and there's going to be lots of opportunity to go after the quarterback. Afram says, Canarsie, respect you for taking care of your parents. Well, that's what we got to do, bro. I'm fortunate enough to have them, and they've taken care of me for 50-plus years. So, I mean, it just is what it is. You do what you do. I mean, I don't know any other way to do it in life. It's like if you don't take care of your parents. But, no, they were good. I was lucky. Not everybody is as lucky with their stories and their life and their parents. So I have no excuse to not, do everything I can to take the best possible care of them. It's like, it's the least that, the least I could do. What else is going on in the Jets world other than Hassan Reddick holding out? That's the good news, is there's not much. There's not much bad. I mean, here's the things we're looking for this season. And I think there's something we don't talk about as much. It kind of gets lost, and that's Mike Williams. I think watching Mike Williams and his recovery and his ability to be healthy and ready and 100% for game one is so much bigger than we're talking about. If Mike Williams could really be fully recovered and be 800 to 900 yards WR2 with a breakout year from Garrett where I expect him to get near around 1,500, we are in beautiful, beautiful shape, right? Because then we don't need a tremendous amount from a rookie in Corley. Like, even 500 yards from him would be tremendous if we get 1,500 from Garrett and 800 to 900 from Mike Williams. Because remember, Conklin's going to come in and Ruckert, they're going to combine hopefully for 700 or, yards or whatever it is. And Breece Hall's going to get 500. We start adding it up, if those top two guys put up those numbers, Rodgers is going over 4,000, and we're going to be fine. It's all, I think that we're so obsessed with we need another wide receiver, we're forgetting the reason we feel we need another wide receiver is because of the uncertainty of Mike Williams' health. But if Mike Williams comes in and he's healthy and he's a full Mike Williams, we're good. We don't need another wide receiver. We're good. We want another wide receiver now as insurance. And Alan Lazard is not the best insurance. There's those other guys. We have those other kids, but we're trying to win a Super Bowl, right? This is a window of trying to win a Super Bowl. We're not in a position to talk about the kids. When we're an average team trying to build, we could be excited about Xavier Gipson and Townsley or whatever, but right now those are meaningless guys. If they end up surprising and giving and giving us a contribution, that's great. But that's not something we're talking about. That's not something we could rely on. We can't pretend, oh no, we're fine. We're not fine. We're trying to win a Super Bowl. If Mike Williams can't go, or if Mike Williams is not 100%, we have a problem. If Corley isn't an instant sensation, we could have a problem in that room. So, but luckily, we're going to have, we'll see what happens because there's a trade deadline. And if things aren't working out and it's week 5, maybe we make a deal. And I know the player all you guys are thinking about, but the Raiders would have to be like 1-4 or 0-5 in order for that to happen. We reap what we sow, says Bang Mateo. We were worried about Williams way before the draft, but you would all rather take a backup OT in 2024, so we reap what we sow. Yeah, you don't like that pick, huh? With Fasciano. I don't think it was all of us. You're talking to us like we all wanted an offensive lineman. I don't think that's true. When we were at the draft party, I think what we really wanted came out. I wasn't sure what I really wanted, and I was going back and forth. But I think the day of the draft party, reality set in. Because the whole draft leading up to our pick, we were praying for Odunze. Rome Odunze. We wanted him. When it was our turn to pick, there was no wide receiver left to pick. The only person worthy of a pick by the time we picked was Brock Bowers, right? That was the only conversation. And we'll see. We'll see, because Brock Bowers might turn out to have a 500-yard receiving season like almost every other tight end as a rookie. Because for whatever reason, tight end is a really difficult position for a rookie to shine in. I know the guy for Detroit came up and did well, but there's 3 other highly regarded tight ends that came out in that draft that were just okay and haven't had a big year yet. So, like that guy Mayer for the Raiders was supposed to be, there were people saying, he's like Gronk. He's amazing. He's going to be unstoppable. He's a great receiving tight end. And maybe he will be a great receiving tight end. But rookie year, not happening. Didn't happen. So, I don't know. I don't know if you wanted Brock, but there was no wide receiver to take. And guess what? They got a top 5 wide receiver on their board. And 3 of their top 5 was already picked in the first round. Which means, according to what the Jets are saying, if it's true, according to what they're saying, after the top 3 wide receivers, Harrison, Neighbors, and Odunze, there was only one other wide receiver along with Corley that the Jets loved in their top 5. So, if Corley is great, you reap what you sow, right? If Corley stinks, it's not about, reap what you sow. I think it's just they were wrong about Corley and they missed, which I guess you could say you reap what you sow. But right now, I don't think they feel like they gave up picking a weapon because of the Fasciano pick. I think that they would argue, no, we accomplished our mission. We did both. We got our weapon because they have Corley, or they had Corley as a top 5 guy. And I do want to say, Bang Mateo, if we want to be a little bit more optimistic, dare us be a little optimistic and a little, positive. What we're hearing about Corley so far has been very good. Like, our veteran players were saying, holy shit, this kid is a freaking cannonball. So they're also saying the same thing about Braden Allen. So I don't know. This might end up going down as a great draft. Like, we might be really happy someday looking back at this draft. But the way they're talking about some of these players, that guy Stiggers or Striglers, what's his name? Someone help me. The cornerback we took from Toronto from the Canadian League. They are raving about this kid. They're not talking about him like, oh, he's a good role player. They're talking about this kid like, if somebody got hurt, he could come in and be a starter. That's how they're talking. They're talking about him like we got this special guy that's going to be a star. That's how they're talking about him. They're like, there are players there's quotes from Jets saying, this kid is like glue. This kid is a seasoned player. Oh, how did we get this kid? Steal the draft. I mean, so, there's some things to be excited about here. And at the very least, I know a lot of people are always going to be unhappy about the Fasciano pick. Well, we have to what has to happen with Olu Fashano is, at least, at the very least, just like with McDonald, 2-3 years from now, he better be a star. Like, he better be a great player. Like, at least they got to get that part right. Anyway, guys, I'm tired. Everyone's leaving anyway. I don't know what happened. Maybe Jake Asman went live. Who knows? Quantez Stiggers. Okay, I'm glad I didn't say it too incorrectly, because I was like, oh, man, I don't want to butcher people's names. It's not right. But I think I did okay. At least I got his last name right. All right, everybody, take care. I'll try to come and rant again, but I'm on a plane tomorrow flying back to California. The next time I see you, I'll be back in the studio. Looking forward to it. Take care. As always, go Jets. And as always, be proud, be loud.